Wow, look at this. Okay, we start with that little leaner inside the bottom of the tree. But if you look above, there's a massive pinned arch that's held in place by a field goal that has a leaner leaning up against it, plus another pinned arch underneath it that is connected to this tree, plus a cross glyph on the ground, across about 5 feet high, and then look at the ground underneath. It looks like you could sit here quite happily, and we've got one of those sort of soil patches, which could be deer, could be wild boar, but it just looks like a really interesting little spot. Rob, can you show us?
Yeah, it's not attached.
Okay.
Come from anywhere here.
That's interesting as well. There seems to be quite a lot of busyness going on around the bottom of this tree. There's a leaner there and some small sticks poked in the bottom, and some more sticks there. Another one there. And here's the other interesting bit. Now all these are within, well, 20-30 metres to the entrance of the wood, and we've spoken before about finding lots of what we think is sign on the edges of a wood. And here's the final one as you leave the wood to go onto the track. So now we're going to follow this track down to the left and see where it goes, and see if we can see anything else. This is the way we've just come in to this little track of woodland here. Look, there's a cross as soon as we come in. Then over to the right, there's almost like a blockade. That could just be a natural fallen tree. There's a big cross on the floor there. There's a leaner with a lovely fork, which is pinning down a nice pinned arch. There's some more little glyphs on the floor, which are quite interesting. We've crossed over this little narrow tract of woodland that's probably only about, I don't know, 100 metres, no, 50 metres wide, in between two big fields, which is all part of the big woodland of the Foret de Boixe. And we've come in it now from the opposite end, from Cellettes. So here's a really nice pinned arch. Rob, can you show us? Yeah. So it's fixed quite firmly, isn't it, on that tree?
Wedged.
Yeah. And then if you look over there to the edge, you can see that there's a little sort of scattering of interesting bits of wood. But also I wanted to point out there's a little low pinned arch there as well. And then another one of those areas where the land has been disturbed and you can see the soil. Again, I've no idea what does it, but it just makes you think it would be a nice place to sit and chill out for a bit. Have a bit of a dig in the ground to get some pig nuts or some truffle or who knows whatever is growing in the ground that you could eat. This is a funky old bent over tree, isn't it? I think it's probably natural, but it looks like something from a Hans Christian Andersen story. And then over there, they've been cutting down trees, probably for firewood. You can see the stuff piled up on the edges. But we'll just take a look on the far side of that over there and see if there's anything else interesting. Right, we've just arrived into the next little section of woodland. We've come from over there through a field and now we've just come into the next bit and we've found these things here.
Yeah, so there's one's wedged in there up there, pointed downwards. Got that one. And you've got that one.
Do that again, please. Okay.
That one. That one.
That's not attached. That's just leaned in. And these down here as well.
You've got that funny snap one right in front.
And then we've got a break there, but it's absolutely jammed in to these. Just pricked me. Ouch. The things I suffer. This is quite interesting too. Here. It looks like it's been bent over and twisted and then leaned over to there. I mean, it could be natural, I don't know. There's a leaner there that's not attached to anything, leaned up inside there. And then there's this one that's been bent over to here possibly that's natural. Seems quite a long way though for it to have bent. And then holding it down here is a random stick that's poked in the ground that isn't attached to anything, which is holding that. Maybe this is the start of a pinned arch. And then there's a leaner there leaning on another almost pinned arch, but again it could be natural. It's so hard to tell. There's another leaner there. It's quite an interesting little area. We keep coming across these little areas that just feel sort of busy, if you know what I mean. And they've always got some clear patches, almost like you could sit down and look. Here's another one of those scuffed up areas. If only I could film something doing it, and then we'd know exactly what it was that was making it happen. Nice Y stick there at the bottom of a tree, but it could have fallen down there. Some things that look like little glyphs there. And then Rob's just found this really nice pinned arch that's been poked into the ground to make it stay in place. Now, how does that happen? How does that go through that tree like that? Behind that one, there, in front of that one, and then get twisted. Poor Kai Rob has just spotted these interesting things. So we've got a leaner here, leaning in between those branches, plus another one and another one.
Like this floating branch.
Plus this, which is an interesting floating branch.
To your left, the whole load of
And then look at this. This is really interesting. That's nice. feels very much like a place where you'd sort of come and hang out. Those parallel leaners again.
Right, get it right by the road.
And once again, we're not more than 20-30 metres off the track. But nobody comes here. The track is for the farmer to drive his tractor up to the field. And very few people will come walking round here. Especially, very few people will actually leave the track and walk in the wood like we do. Okay, we'll go out of here, back onto the track, and then back into the next section of woodland. Okay, Rob, talk us through this little glyph thing.
It's got the glyph or loads of fallen branches all together. But then you've got this one here, which they're all lying on. Here. And then you've got these three twigs all stuck in it.